Community focus. Community focus. We're here for you. Our point of view. At 5 o'clock. You're in North London. A week in review. We're here for you. Yeah.
Hooray! 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 Hooray!
Community Focus is an arts centre for children and adults with disabilities. We are based in the Borough of Barnet, North London, and offer a selection of creative and well-being activities for all ages.
In the room we have
Carol,
Jonathan,
Amia,
Philip.
And Gila.
In today's show, we are talking openly and honestly about anxiety. We share what anxiety really feels like to us, how it shows up in our lives, and why it can be so hard to navigate. Along the way, we explore practical tools, simple coping strategies, and small shifts that can make a big difference. We have put some helpful links below to help you cope if you are suffering from anxiety too.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about anxiety. Anxiety is when your body and mind react as if something threatening is happening, even if the situation isn't actually dangerous. Your brain goes into alert mode, which can cause physical symptoms like fast heartbeat, tense muscles, or trouble concentrating. It's basically your body's stress response kicking in at the wrong time or more intensely than you'd like. Here are 3 simple examples. Before a job interview, your heart races and your stomach feels tight, even though you know you're prepared. Sending an important message. You keep rereading it because you worry you said something wrong. Walking into a crowded room. You feel on edge and hyper aware of what others might think, even if nothing bad is happening. So Gila, would you like to tell us about your experiences with anxiety?
So, I have anxiety all the time, mostly because I am stressing about little things that is going to happen in the future. And I have one example, which is the bus when I went to college didn't turn up, so I was stressing about will I get there on time and what happens if I don't. So I called my parents and I talked it out with them, saying what happens if I don't get there on time, what do I do now? So I called my parents in North Finchley and I said to them, what do I do now I'm stuck in North Finchley? Like, do I take another bus that will help me to go to my college, or what do I do? Can you come and pick me up? And when I have this anxiety, I feel very, very hot and sweaty and basically not nice to be around. And it's just, I just feel like it's normal reaction to everything I'm doing, and I just don't like being anxious all the time over little stuff.
In what other ways can anxiety manifest itself?
Anxiety can manifest in many different ways. You can have your heart rate go madly high, and you can become irritable and become moody, and basically feel like you don't know what you are doing, and have your mind going bonkers in like just sending messages like you need to be there now, but I feel like anxiety is mostly because peer pressure and FOMO, because you don't want to be left out. FOMO is fear of missing out, and that is, I think, peer pressure and fear of missing out / FOMO is the biggest trigger that you can have for anxiety. So that's how it triggers me. Phil, how does anxiety impact your life?
Whenever I go to community focus or anywhere, I have to get a cab and they're late for work for picking me up. I'm always anxious in case I like to be early, not late. I like to be there on time, not late. You know what I mean? And I get anxious, you know.
How does it make you feel physically?
When I just go. I just wish I could do things by myself. You know what I mean? I wish I could do things instead of asking people to help me. You know what I mean? Because I like to be independent. I panic sometimes because, you know, I like to be home, and especially when it comes to after I finish this group, and I've got to wait for a cab to take me home to be there in time for the social on a Friday, and I can't find things. You know what I mean? That's what I get frustrated, anxious about. You know, yeah. I get a bit frustrated or confused about what's happening to me. You know. And when my phone goes off, I'm always anxious because I'm in a group of people in my session. Do you know what I mean? What makes you anxious, Jonathan?
Many things can make me anxious. Ooh, having any sort of responsibility can cause a lot of anxiety. Having to, well, I'm feeling the anxiety right now. I'm trying to describe the anxiety. When I need to show people what I can do, what I'm capable of, that gives me a lot of anxiety. And often if I have the anxiety, it will make doing whatever it is I need to do more difficult. And then that increases the anxiety even further. So it becomes a slow escalation the more I do whatever it is. A lot of the time I tend to also tense up a lot. My jaw can clench. There are some times when the anxiety can get best of me in such a major way that I can completely zone out because my brain is just so desperate to escape from reality, because at the moment reality would be causing anxiety and I've just got to get away from it. And so that causes a massive lapse in concentration and I completely lose the plots of what's going on, and it can be very embarrassing, which is more anxiety, and it's a whole massive issue with lots of strands that come off it and connect to other things. So yeah, it's complicated.
Jonathan, you mentioned like your jaw gets clenched. That's quite common when you're sleeping and you're grinding your teeth, and that's like when people are grinding their teeth, they say because you're anxious, you've got a lot of things in your head that you're thinking about and trying to process. You might wake up and you might have a sore jaw, or yeah, you don't realise. Well.
Yeah, sometimes my jaw can be so clenched it starts to make my teeth hurt. And yeah, it's a very cyclical problem, which is, I imagine, the case with a lot of other people. And I think that makes it even more complicated for a lot of people to explain, and it's certainly making it very complicated for me to explain. You know, even just feeling it now and overcoming it as I'm saying this is difficult. So yeah.
Phil, so when you're anxious, how do you deal with it?
I just think to myself, just calm down and just relax. And, you know, watch telly, play my iPad, do some reading, you know.
Quite often you ask for help though, don't you, as well?
Yeah, but I feel I'm bothering people. But people say you're not bothered to me, but you're part, you know, some people say to me you're part of our family. It's really nice, you know, and I'm very happy. Thank you. How do you cope with anxiety, Jonathan?
Well, it depends, really, in the end. Sometimes if I can just keep still for a while and just breathe in and out. And a lot of time, if I know that enough about my anxiety in the moment, I'll just tell myself that eventually the mystery of the situation will become clear. That's the sort of thing where I might be waiting for someone to respond to a message I've sent them and I'm wondering why they haven't responded back or something like that. Because I know they'll always respond eventually. You know, I've just got to tell myself that and be patient with it. If I'm feeling totally overwhelmed, I'll sometimes pace up and down to get rid of some of the physical tension. I'll try to keep alone so I can have my thoughts to myself without having too many distractions. I might try to put something funny on the TV or watch something on my phone, you know, something to try and relieve some of the pressure and the stress that would be mounting up on me. That sort of thing. Carol, what about you when it comes to anxiety? How do you cope with it?
I tend to sometimes listen to music, depending on the song that suits me right with how I feel, and also maybe like being alone helps, and maybe like drawing, like expressing feelings through drawings, also poems, poems, I guess.
Do you get anxious, Amir?
I see in the bus, many students is very in the bus, yes.
Are you in the bus?
You get anxious when you're on the bus?
I seen a student is smoking in the bus and I'm angry every time.
Oh, there was smoking on the bus?
Yes, the students, yes.
Oh, the students were smoking and it made you feel anxious?
Yes.
And what do you do to make you feel better?
I tell the driver, take me off.
Oh, you tell the driver?
Yes.
And does the driver help you, or does he?
They can't make it, no.
No, he can't help.
No.
So how do you make yourself feel better? Do you just try and forget about it?
Yes.
You know, I've got my trolley with me. I always, whenever I go on a bus with my trolley, I do ask the driver to get the ramp out first, and then. But I'm always cautious when you go up the ramp. I might fall over. I might fall back. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think people will help you though? Is that because you're worried that people won't help you?
Some people, yeah, some people do. Some people help me. Yeah.
But that can cause a bit of anxiety.
Anxiety. Yeah, I like to try and do things myself.
Also with transportation, being on a bus or going on a train and going to a new destination kind of gives me anxiety, because like you need to know where you're going but with me it takes me time to actually understand where I'm going. So like basically learning new things.
Jonathan, how do you cope with anxiety?
In a few ways. Escaping from reality is one of them, but not exactly what one would call reliable because of the confusion and embarrassment. What I can do sometimes is I'll just might try to recall a song I like, not too much of that because that can be a distraction, but it can sometimes lift my spirits a bit and help me forget. Sometimes advice that I've received in the past has been helpful. It can depend entirely on the circumstances sometimes. Sometimes it can be just to sit and wait and just not do anything, because sometimes doing anything, if you're feeling a lot of anxiety, can result in something less than pleasant happening. It depends on the situation, really.
Does your anxiety hold you back in life, and is there anything that you can fix it?
Oh yes, definitely. It's held me back from practically everything in the end. Talking to people is very anxiety inducing. Doing new things can be very anxiety inducing. Sometimes being around people can induce more anxiety, sometimes being alone can induce more anxiety, but it depends on what it specifically is. Sometimes knowing that once I've done it, it'll be over with, that can definitely help me cope. Just knowing that once it's done, you won't need to worry about it anymore. All these things are finite, nothing will keep going forever and ever, so that eventual end will come.
Can I just ask you a question? If you've got anxiety, how come you come every week, every Friday for this podcast? You're marvellous, Jonathan.
Thank you, Phil. Yeah, I just know that it's not going to be too bad in the end. I've got good people here with me, and in the end of the day, I'm my own harshest critic, and everyone else is a lot less harsh than me. We're all a relaxed, nice bunch here, so it does help me say what I need to say here as best it can do. And, I'm very thankful for all of you here. So yeah, that's it.
We're thankful for you as well, Jonathan.
Yeah, we are, Jonathan. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Jonathan, can I just say something to you? Don't think you're on your own, because you're not.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
That's all right.
Yeah, so Carol, what's your experiences with anxiety?
There was an experience when I was late for something, because I don't like being late for things. When I'm late for things, it stresses me out, especially time, because if you think about the time so much, you're it kind of because time kind of consumes you, and it just pulls you in, and you're worrying about it so much. So I tend not to look at time because it's a stressful thing, and situations where things can bottle up, and I can experience stomach pains, and getting hot, and then get emotional at the end, and also I tend to ruminate. So I tend to, like Gila said, I tend to worry about the future too much, and then I think about the things that are impossible to that will not actually happen. 2 weeks ago, I was going home and I started worrying because I tend to worry about my family, so worrying that something might happen to my family, and it was kind of like ruminating in my head, and I was worried like my house would collapse or something, and I could imagine all the disturbing things that happened to my family or something, and then when I got home, nothing happened.
So, Carol, I heard you said about ruminating. What does ruminating actually mean?
So, ruminating to me is like overthinking about something too much. It depends on like the situation of what you're thinking about. But if it's something like, for example, someone dying, it's kind of like a fear because like you worry about your family, something happening to your family because you don't know what's gonna happen to them. So, and then that thought kind of overwhelms you, and everything just kind of bottles up, and then afterwards it explodes, and then you just let all those emotions out.
So Gila, what do you do to cope with anxiety?
What I do to help me with my anxiety is I talk to someone who I can trust. I normally talk to either my family or my friends. But then when I talk to them, I feel like I'm putting anxiety on them because I worry that if I talk to someone, they would take on my anxiety and be anxious for me because I have anxiety all the time, and I don't want them to feel like they can't help me in the way I need them to. But also I feel like if you talk to someone, then it's something off your chest and you can just be the giggly, happy person you meant to be rather than an anxiety person that's ruining everything.
The good news!
I got some news today.
And what news is that, Carol?
So I did some work experience yesterday. I helped out in a bookshop. What my main job was to do is fill books in alphabetical order by the author's surname. And I also had another helper.
Were you nervous?
I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I was a bit unsure. But when the main leader explained it to me, I kind of felt comfortable. I kind of got the hang of it. Yeah.
And are you going to go back?
Yes.
And is it going to be a regular thing?
Probably.
What do you mean, Bobby? Yes or no?
There's like a rota that we have to fill online, what days we can do. So I might go next Thursday.
Cool. And would you recommend it for anybody else thinking about getting a part-time job?
Yeah, if they want to have a good record on their CV, I suggest going to the bookshop.
And can you remind us how you have found that job?
Well, my dad saw an advertising on the shop window, and I sent them an email saying I wanted to volunteer, and they got back to me. They got back to me saying, yeah, you can volunteer. And then that's like when we made arrangements where I met them in person, and they gave me a handbook to read, so I read the handbook, and yeah, I started my first shift yesterday.
Very good, Cal. Very good. Well done.
Well done. Well
Well
done.
done, Cal.
Well done.
And now it's time.
For
Poetry
Corner.
My fellow downtrodden, I beseech you all please, if you would kindly lend me your ears for a moment, for our time is at hand. Why is our time at hand, I hear you ask? Because every time is our time. We just have to seize the opportunity and show those toffs at the top who look down on us that they cannot push us around any longer. We break our backs for them and they spit on us in return. We drain ourselves dry for them and they call us scroungers and leeches for our troubles. We beg for scraps while they dine off food stolen from our plates, and they have the nerve to call us greedy. Well, no more, I say, because now is the time we fight back. The system was rigged against us from the start. That's not how it's going to end. For there are more of us than there are of them, which means we have the numbers to overpower them. We can overcome them with our strength and our fortitude and our will to survive. We do this not just for ourselves or for each other, but for our children and our children's children. Who is with me?
Final thoughts are, if you had anxiety, what advice would you give other people?
Support each other.
Sometimes it's about keeping things in perspective, because when you're feeling a lot of anxiety in a situation, things can seem a lot bigger than what they are. But you sometimes just got to think that it's not going to be too big of a deal, as long as you can just keep calm and don't act too rash.
My advice would be, if you ever have anxiety, distract yourself, because that can help. But mainly talk to someone, because it bottles up and you can become stressed from it and overwhelmed.
My final thoughts are, don't have anxiety, or try to limit your anxiety as best as you can.
Thanks for listening to us. Bye!
Bye!
Community focus. Community focus. We're here for you. Our point of view. At 5 o'clock. You're North London. A week in review. We're here for you.